When the Jaguar I-Pace concept was unveiled at the 2016 Los Angeles Auto Show, designer Ian Callum hinted that the production version would look very much like this. Yeah, we've heard that before. But here's the real thing, shown first at the New York International Auto Show. It should hit Jaguar showrooms sometime in the summer of 2018 and start at around $71,000 before tax credits. Jaguar's Wayne Burgess took some time to talk to me about the brand's first all-electric vehicle. It looks a lot like the concept, almost identical.
Yep, we're very proud of that achievement. I can tell you specifically what the differences are because they're so few, they're easy for me to explain. So the road wheels are 22 inches rather than the 23 that we had on the concept vehicle. The front and rear fenders on the concept car were swelled by 10 millimeters just to give the car a little bit more of a muscular stance. But the production vehicle, because we've been really chasing a good drag coefficient for the car, we didn't want to increase the frontal area. We kept it slightly narrower so that we had a lower frontal area and a better drag coefficient. And then on the interior, we had some really concept car-like front seats on the vehicle, which aesthetically were lovely, but they didn't carry any of the safety features that passenger cars need, so they didn't have side airbags. So again, we've kind of taken the slim seat that we now have across our range of SUVs with the airbag protection on it, and we've retrimmed it so it matches the style of the car. I think we've played a very good game with this car because we showed the concept, the production car was well on its way anyway, and in that year of exposing the concept, we've been able to bring the production car to production readiness. The most exciting thing for me is the liberation you get in moving to an electric vehicle architecture. Removing those big building blocks of an IC engine and a transmission, and therefore the transmission tunnel and so on, gives you a lot of freedom to move the cabin around on the car. So what we took the opportunity to do very early on in the program was really slide the windscreen forwards and give the car a real cab forward profile. And actually, we kind of realised quite quickly that we could give it almost a mid-engine supercar aesthetic, if you like. We looked at our own CX-75 concept supercar from a few years back for visual inspiration for this vehicle. And it was all about driving that cabin forwards and actually having a car that its footprint on the road is relatively small. It's a 4.8 metre vehicle, about the size of a Porsche Macan. But the interior, the cabin length, is about the same as a long wheelbase XJ. So that's a real tangible benefit of an electric architecture. Because we want to deliver the best range possible with this car, the most tangible way that we can influence that from an exterior design point of view is to really deliver great aerodynamics. A great example of that was the grille. So even though this is an electric vehicle, it's got what looks like a standard Jaguar grille for a couple of very specific reasons. One is Jaguar is a challenger brand, so we're still building our recognition, we're still growing our volumes and segments, and we want people to recognise this when they first see it. But it's electric, so we wanted it to do different things. So we decided to roll the top of the grille into an air vent, and what it does is it accelerates the air, which then exits via this bonnet vent over the top of the windscreen wipers and attaches itself to the screen. So it's actually a low drag device that's got a really cool aesthetic. The rear spoiler is again floating to get the air to pass underneath it. And one of the great things about the rear screen is we really optimise the rake angle so that as long as the car's moving forwards, it creates no turbulent air, which means the rear screen doesn't get soiled, which means it doesn't need a rear wiper. Now, when we first made this discovery, the engineering teams actually checked it about 3 or 4 times before they came back and went, no, everything we've done says you don't need a rear wiper on this car. In side view, when you look at the profile of this car, and its fenders particularly, it has very voluptuous front and rear fenders. There's a lot of crown and curvature. It drops into the belt line through the glass house, then rises and has a big muscular rear fender. In side view, it's quite exaggerated, and that's because we couldn't do it in plan view because it affected the aero, but in side view, it made no difference. So we really kind of styled it up where we could do, if you like. Okay, so the interior of I-Pace is perhaps less surprising than the exterior, and there are some important reasons for that. When we originally started drawing concept sketches for the car, we looked at schemes that really scooped away the dashboard ahead of the passenger, but actually we quickly realised that the safety devices again that need to be in place, so the passenger airbag, the knee bolster which holds the passenger's legs in place in the event of an impact, they all need to stay in the same place whether the car is electric or it has an IC engine. So there's big architectural building blocks that define the dashboard of a car remain unchanged effectively. Also, although we've moved into an era of electrification, human beings haven't changed shape. So I still need the heater controls to fall readily to hand here. I still need the touchscreen for sat-nav to be here. I still need the main controls to be here. What we have done though is, because we haven't got a traditional transmission tunnel, we've used space under the HVAC controls to create a capacitive charging mat for your smartphones. And something that we've really worked hard on is, because we've vacated the space in the centre of the car, we saw it as a real stowage opportunity. So under the central armrest, if you remove the cup holders, is a massive stowage bin that a lady can fit a shoulder bag into, or you can fit 2 bottles of wine in there if your journey home is is anything like mine on some days of the week, or a couple of 2-litre bottles of water. It's really massive usable stowage. Likewise, in the rear of the car, under the rear seats, is a full width tray that's kind of secret, and you can put your tablets in there, you can put a laptop in there, or again your smartphones. No one will know it's there. So it's stowage vacated by the mechanicals that we've removed and repurposed for really useful hidden storage in the vehicle. And more importantly, because this is an electric vehicle and there is an ecological consideration for a lot of these customers, we have a premium non-leather interior. So we've started looking into fabrics, and you can order a fabric interior in the vehicle as well. Jaguars are very driver focused in terms of our dashboard design. We want you to maintain your eyes on the road. And the problem that we see with a portrait style touchscreen in the car is, you've actually got to go a long way down here without looking at it to register where you are on the screen. If you've got a horizontal screen, a landscape screen, you can have a ledge that lets you rest your fingers, so you slide your hand down without looking at it, and you've got a physical register to say, I'm here on the screen, and it's actually much easier to locate functions. So that was the main reason we did it, because we felt a portrait style screen, you're going a long way from your line of sight to locate functions on it.
Yeah.
It's a very big cabin on a very small footprint, and it's all of the stowage opportunities we've created by removing mechanical componentry. And again, you've still got a richly trimmed, luxurious Jaguar cabin ambience.
Driven by 2 electric motors, the I-Pace does the 0 to 60 dash in 4.5 seconds, according to Jaguar. A spent battery will fully charge in 12.5 hours on 220 current. Range is estimated at 240 miles. I'm looking forward to driving this one. Hope you enjoyed this first look at the 2019 Jaguar I-Pace. I'm Tom Voelk.